All right, so let's dive into something pretty relevant, I think, as we head deeper into winter, getting ready for whatever wild weather comes our way. Today's deep dive is going to focus on power solutions, and it's inspired by a video review of the Anker Solix F3800 portable power station. Imagine like a weather enthusiast trekking through this snowy landscape and showcasing this power station's features. That's the vibe of this video, and it's actually pretty entertaining.
Sounds like a pretty engaging way to tackle a subject that's often viewed as kind of dry or technical. I think
Hmm,
using those real-world scenarios really helps people grasp those practical applications, especially with something as essential as power during winter storms.
exactly. And they kick things off with this like humorous scene
Hmm.
where the weather enthusiast mistakes a snow-covered house for a glacier. It's a lighthearted way to start, but it really underscores how heavy snowfall can drastically reduce visibility.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. Limited visibility during winter storms can lead to disorientation and, potentially dangerous situations. And it really highlights the need for, heightened awareness and caution when you're navigating those conditions.
Absolutely, and it perfectly sets the stage for why having a reliable backup power source is so critical. Now, this Anker Solix F3800 boasts a capacity of 3,800 watt-hours. I was
Yeah.
digging into what that actually means, and it's enough to keep a standard refrigerator running for an entire day.
Wow, that's significant, especially during a prolonged power outage, in winter. And think about, the financial impact too. The average household loses hundreds of dollars worth of refrigerated and frozen food during these extended outages. A power station like this could, really help you avoid that loss and the hassle of restocking.
Plus, think about families with young children or individuals with specific dietary needs. Having access to a consistently powered refrigerator can be, more than just a convenience. It becomes a matter of health and well-being.
Yeah, and, relying solely on a refrigerator might not be the most efficient approach. This might be a good time to think about alternative food preservation methods that don't rely on constant power. Things like canning, pickling, or even drying. These can extend the shelf life of certain foods and provide valuable backup options during emergencies.
That's a great point. It's all about having multiple layers of preparedness. So we've covered keeping the fridge running, but the video highlights how this Anchor power station can handle a lot more than just that.
Mm.
The weather enthusiast uses it to power cameras, laptops, and even a drone.
Oh, wow. While using a drone in a blizzard might raise a few eyebrows, the broader point about versatility, I think, is well taken. This power station can be a lifeline during emergencies, powering not only entertainment devices, but also essential medical equipment or communication tools.
Yeah, it really expands the possibilities, not just in emergency situations, but for everyday life too. Imagine taking this power station on a camping trip or using it to power tools for an outdoor project. It opens up a whole new level of flexibility.
Absolutely. And, when you consider the potential applications beyond just keeping warm during an outage, the value proposition of having this kind of portable power becomes even more apparent.
Speaking of real-world scenarios, the video shows some pretty intense footage of vehicle incidents in the snow. It's a stark reminder that winter weather can be unpredictable and sometimes dangerous, even when you're on the road.
Yeah, those scenes definitely add a dose of reality to the review. It emphasizes that emergencies aren't limited to our homes. Vehicles can become stranded, leaving people vulnerable to the elements, and that's where having a portable power source can become a literal lifesaver.
Right, it could be used to jumpstart a car, power a tire inflator, or provide light and warmth while waiting for assistance.
And don't forget about staying connected. During severe winter storms, cell phone towers can be overwhelmed or lose power, making communication difficult. Having a portable power station to charge your devices can ensure you can reach emergency services or loved ones if needed.
Okay, so this Anchor Solix seems like a powerhouse for a winter storm.
Mm-hmm.
But are there any drawbacks to it? What are the technical specs like?
Hmm. That's where we need to go beyond the entertaining aspects of the video and delve into the nitty-gritty details. The video mentions a 3,800 watt-hour capacity, but what about the charging time? And what types of outlets does it offer?
Good point. Knowing how long it takes to recharge, especially if you're relying on solar panels during a winter storm where daylight hours are limited, is crucial information.
Absolutely. And understanding the variety of outlets it provides helps determine which devices you can realistically power simultaneously. Can it handle a space heater and a refrigerator at the same time, for example? These are practical considerations the video doesn't seem to address fully.
Let's dig deeper into those technical specifications and see if we can unpack those details a bit further. Then maybe we can explore some alternative heating sources as well, just to round out our understanding of how to stay warm during a winter power outage. What do you think?
That sounds like a great next step. After all, staying warm is paramount during a winter storm, and having a comprehensive understanding of our options can make all the difference. So let's delve into those technical specifications. Having a solid grasp of the power station's capabilities is crucial for making informed decisions about its use, during a winter emergency.
You're right, the video does gloss over some of the finer points. So what should we be looking for when it comes to charging time?
Well, the first thing to consider is the charging source. The Anker Solix F3800 offers multiple options: solar, car, and standard wall outlet. Each has its pros and cons, particularly during a winter storm.
Okay, let's break that down. Solar charging sounds ideal, especially for off-grid situations. But I imagine winter weather could pose some challenges.
Precisely. Solar charging in winter can be significantly less efficient due to shorter daylight hours and weaker sunlight. Snow cover on the panels would further reduce their output. So while solar is a fantastic option in general, relying solely on it during a winter outage might not be the most reliable approach.
That makes sense. What about charging through a car? That seems like a practical option, especially if you're stranded or have limited access to other power sources.
It certainly can be. However, it's important to understand the limitations. Car charging typically utilizes the vehicle's 12V outlet, which delivers a lower power output compared to a standard wall outlet. This means charging times will be considerably longer.
So if you're in a pinch and need to power up quickly, relying on the car might not be the best bet. But it's still a valuable backup option, especially if you're conserving power and have some time to spare.
That's a good way to think about it. It's about having multiple charging options and understanding their trade-offs. Now, the standard wall outlet will generally provide the fastest charging time, but of course that's assuming you have access to grid power.
Right, which during an outage is not a guarantee.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a bit and talk about outlets. The video shows the Anker Solix powering various devices, yeah, but are all outlets created equal?
That's a great question. The types and number of outlets can significantly impact the power station's versatility. Look for a mix of AC outlets, USB ports, and potentially even a DC output for specialized devices.
And I'd imagine the wattage or amperage of each outlet matters too.
Absolutely. Knowing the power output of each outlet helps determine which devices can be safely and effectively powered. For example, running a high wattage appliance like a space heater will require a different outlet than charging a phone or a laptop.
It sounds like understanding these technical details can make a big difference in how you utilize the power station and how well it meets your needs during an emergency.
Precisely. And let's not overlook the importance of safety features. Overloading outlets or using incompatible devices can pose risks. Look for features like surge protection, short circuit protection, and temperature control to ensure safe operation.
Those are great points. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of having a powerful device, but remembering that safety should always be a top priority is crucial.
Absolutely. And speaking of safety, let's transition from the power station itself to the broader topic of home preparedness during winter storms.
Okay, that sounds like a good next step. What are some key areas we should focus on when it comes to making our homes winter ready?
Well, let's start with insulation. A well-insulated home can significantly reduce heat loss and maintain a comfortable temperature even during power outages.
That makes sense. Are there any simple steps people can take to improve insulation even in older homes?
Certainly. Adding weather, stripping around doors and windows, sealing any air leaks, and even hanging heavy curtains can make a noticeable difference.
Those are practical and relatively inexpensive tips. What about frozen pipes? That's a major concern during winter storms, especially if the power goes out and the heating system isn't running.
It's a valid concern, and one that can lead to costly repairs. Insulating exposed pipes, allowing faucets to drip slightly during extremely cold weather, and knowing how to shut off the water supply in case of a burst pipe are essential preventative measures.
It's amazing how many things we take for granted when everything is working smoothly. But being prepared for those what-if scenarios can save a lot of headaches down the road.
Exactly. And speaking of what-if scenarios, let's not forget about creating a safe indoor environment during a power outage.
Okay, so beyond staying warm, what are some essential things we should have on hand?
Having a well-stocked emergency kit is paramount. This should include essentials like flashlights, batteries, a first aid kit, non-perishable food, and bottled water.
Right, the basics. But are there any specific items we should consider for winter weather emergencies?
Absolutely. Think about adding items like hand warmers, battery-powered lanterns, extra blankets, and a way to safely melt snow for drinking water if needed.
Those are great additions. It's all about anticipating the unique challenges that winter weather can throw our way.
Precisely. And while we're on the topic of emergencies, let's not overlook the importance of having a backup communication plan.
You're right, we rely so heavily on our cell phones these days. But what happens when those are dead and the power's out?
That's where having a battery-powered weather radio or even a hand-cranked charger can be invaluable. It allows you to stay informed about weather updates and potentially contact emergency services if needed.
These are all great reminders that being prepared for winter weather goes beyond just having a fancy power station. It's about thinking holistically about our needs and having a plan in place to address them.
And let's not forget the human element. Checking on elderly neighbors, sharing resources with those in need, and simply being there for each other can make a world of difference during a challenging time.
Absolutely. A sense of community can be just as warming as a space heater. So we've covered a lot of ground, from power solutions to home preparedness and the importance of community. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's time to circle back to that video review and consider its overall effectiveness in promoting winter weather preparedness.
Okay, so let's shift our focus back to the Anchor Solix and the way it was presented in the video. What are your thoughts?
While the video certainly does a great job of showcasing the power station's capabilities and highlighting the importance of having a backup power source, I think it's important to critically evaluate its approach.
I agree it was entertaining, but did it really equip viewers with the knowledge to make informed decisions about their own winter preparedness?
That's the crux of it. While the video highlights the benefits of the Anchor Solix, it doesn't adequately address the broader aspects of winter weather preparedness. It creates this sense that having this one product is the ultimate solution, which can be misleading.
Right, it's almost like it simplifies a complex issue down to a single purchase.
Hmm.
But as we've discussed, true preparedness involves a multifaceted approach, from home insulation and alternative heating sources to emergency kits and community support.
Exactly. And, while the video's humorous tone makes it engaging, relying solely on entertainment to convey, crucial safety information can be problematic. Viewers might remember the funny anecdotes, but miss the essential details about preparedness strategies or the potential limitations of the product itself.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. In this case, it's not about losing an eye, but about potentially overlooking critical information that could impact safety and well-being during a winter emergency.
That's a great analogy. It really highlights the need for a balanced approach, one that combines engaging storytelling with factual information and practical guidance.
So if we were to take this video review and turn it into a truly comprehensive guide to winter weather preparedness, what would we add or change?
Well, for starters, I'd expand the discussion beyond the Anchor Solix and explore a wider range of power solutions. There are other portable power stations on the market, each with its own set of features, price points, and capabilities. It's important to present viewers with options and empower them to choose the best solution for their individual needs.
Right, because what works for one person might not be the best fit for another. It's about having a diverse toolbox of solutions and understanding how to utilize them effectively.
Absolutely. And I'd also dedicate a segment to debunking common winter weather myths and misconceptions. For example, many people believe that leaving faucets dripping prevents frozen pipes, but that's not always the case. Providing accurate information and dispelling these myths can help viewers make informed decisions and avoid potential hazards.
It's about separating fact from fiction, especially when it comes to safety. So we've talked about the video's strengths and weaknesses, but let's zoom out for a moment and reflect on the bigger picture here. What are the key takeaways we want our listeners to remember from this deep dive?
Well, first and foremost, winter weather preparedness is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a multifaceted process that involves assessing individual needs, understanding potential risks, and developing a comprehensive plan.
Right, it's about taking a proactive approach and being prepared for a range of scenarios, not just relying on a single product or strategy.
And secondly, knowledge is power, literally and figuratively. Having a deep understanding of winter weather hazards, available resources, and effective preparedness strategies can empower individuals to make informed decisions and weather any storm with confidence.
And finally, community matters. Checking on neighbors, sharing resources, and supporting each other can make a world of difference during challenging times. It's a reminder that we're all in this together.
Those are all excellent points. And on that note of community, I'd love to hear from our listeners. What resonated with you most from this deep dive? What are your own experiences with winter weather preparedness? And what tips or strategies have you found most effective? Share your thoughts and stories with us, and let's keep this conversation going.
Because as we've learned today, being prepared together is far more effective than facing the storm alone. So until next time, stay warm, stay safe, and stay informed.